What is up, everybody? I'm just doing a quick video talking about Alien RPG, and specifically, basically, I went through, I guess, a turn of combat. I'm just trying to prep to play some games and trying to get the rules down. And in particular, I want to run some games where it's Colonial Marines against some xenomorphs, okay? Because that's the experience that my group is looking for, I think, is we want to fight some aliens. And, yeah, that just seems to me to be like kind of the main thing we would like to do. So, I was trying to walk through, how does this all work? And I don't know, maybe there's some better tutorials out there on the YouTube, but if not, stick with me. I'll show you like basically what all happened. And then, if you see like I screwed something up, or if you see something I should have added, please, comment in the comments. Let me know what you've noticed. So what I had was like 4 Colonial Marines. I had one with the smart gun, others with pulse rifles. And then I actually had 3 Xenomorphs. This one here started here originally. You can see I drew like 2 initiative cards for them. I was playing them as, I think, the soldier role. And yeah, so they each have their 2 initiative cards, and then the Colonial Marines have their 1 initiative card. So this alien went first, and I didn't have him do the sprint action. I just had him do like he gets 1 fast and 1 slow action. So I had him run for his fast action, and then his slow action was to do an attack. So that actually caused a panic check on the Marine, because he was attacked by an alien that he had not encountered before, which was passed. And let's see. Yeah, so he did some damage to the Marine. Let's see. The Marine first used its fast action for this turn to block. So, and you have to announce that, I guess, before the attack. We decided to block. 6 damage was dealt to him via the Xenomorphs' custom attack. They have like their own attack table. And then basically, yeah, the armor on the Marine stopped 1 of the damage. And so it was like 6 damage was dealt. I think it was 3 successes at 2 damage each. So I was like, okay, that's 6 damage total. The armor negated 1 damage. And then he did the blocking action also, and that negated another damage. So then he was just down to 4. Or sorry, he was down to 2. He was down to 2 because he took 4 damage. And then, let's see. Yeah, and then the damage to the Marine increased the Marine's stress by 1 also. So like for this scenario, I just said, okay, we'll start him out at 4, but he went up to 5 from that. Okay, so that was the first alien's action. Then we go to the second card, which was this Marine here. And what did he do? He did a fast action of aiming, and then he fires. And I said like this was medium range. I don't know, at least for this scenario. I said, okay, let's consider that medium range. So he was at 10 dice because it was a +2 from the aiming. And then it was a -1 from the medium range. So a +1 net. And then he was at, let's see. Yeah, he was at 3 ranged combat plus 5 agility. So an 8. And then the pulse rifle was a +1. So 9. And then, yeah, 10 dice from the aiming with then the penalty for medium range. So we got 10 dice. Started him out at stress 4. So he was at 14 dice rolled. And that was 3 hits that were caused. Each success, each hit caused 2 damage from the pulse rifle. And then that was an armor-piercing shot, so it did cut the alien's armor down from 10 to 5. But the alien rolled the 5 dice, and none of those hits were blocked. So that was Apone, and yeah, the alien took 6 damage from him at that time. So that was the 2. Then we went to the Three. The three was kind of interesting. So this was, this Marine that had already been hit by the alien. So he does a close combat attack with his knife back. It was actually pretty successful. So he had 4 hits, and the combat knife is like 2 damage. So he did 8 damage total. The alien rolled its armor, and that was not armor piercing. The combat knife was not armor piercing. So the alien got all of its armor, and it blocked 2 of those. So it took 6 damage. And I think I did this correctly, that it's like the acid splash stat on the alien. This is kind of a complaint a little bit with this book, is like I gotta like bounce around a lot to find the right stats. I'm like, okay, this is talking about this xenomorph and its special abilities, but then I'm like, yeah, where are the stats for this kind of alien? And okay, here's the soldiers, what I was using. So yeah, that had 10 acid splash. So they say to add that to the damage dealt to the aliens. So I'm like, I think I roll 16 dice. So I rolled 16 dice for him, and that resulted in 2 6s. So like 2 damage back to the Marine. But then it says the Marine's armor can be used to block that. So he had armor of 6. So 6 armor. And so actually I rolled 2 6s. And so that blocked 2 of the damage. But then they say the acid like eats away those points of armor. So basically I just said, okay, now the guy's down to 4 armor. But otherwise he stopped that acid damage. So that was the 3, was 6 damage being dealt back to this alien here. Okay, then the 4 was kind of fun. This was this smart gunner. Was at 3 stress, I said, to start the scenario. There was an aim for +2. And so yeah, it's like a big attack. It's like, okay, you got a +3 from the smart gun. You got a range of 4 + 5 agility. So I'm like, okay, that's 9, 12 dice base plus the +2. So I was like 14 dice. And I said, well, that was a pretty close range alien. At the time, it was standing up like this. So I was like, okay, that looks pretty close range to me. So, yeah, basically it did 3 hits. And then with the smart gun, that's 3 damage. So, yeah. So that was 9 damage dealt. That's armor piercing. So it cut the armor in half down to 5 armor. And none of that was blocked. So I rolled 5 dice. None were blocked. So that alien was dead. And then I rolled on the xenomorph critical injury chart. I rolled a 5. And so it was just kaboom, dead. So then I go to the next initiative card, which was back to this alien here. So remember, I had an ace and a 5. So we were back to him. And then what happened? I did an attack. The Marine couldn't block because it had no fast action left for this round, this turn. Sorry, I might be using that interchangeably. And what happened? Let's see. I rolled a 6 for the attack on the chart. That did ultimately result in 3 hits being dealt to the Marine at 2 damage each. So 6 damage. And this Marine, if you recall, was down to 4 armor. So I'm like, okay, actually, he cannot survive because he was already down to 2 health. So, yeah, that killed him. Oh, and actually, yeah, that special rule on the xenomorph chart, that 6 was called a head bite. So, it just killed him outright. He took damage, so it's like the victim is killed in one dreadful blow. Sorry, that's a little bit blurry, but it's a 6 on this soldier attacks chart. So his head was bitten off. I said that caused a panic check when the ally was, standing close to him like that. I don't think that's actually in the rules, but I thought that seemed appropriate to me that, this guy got killed right next to him. But he didn't care, he was Apone, he was stoic, and he just, carried on with his mission, rolling pretty slow on that panic check. Pretty slow, pretty low on that panic check. Okay, so that was a 5. That was, the second action of this alien. So then we go to 6. It was this guy with a pulse rifle. He did a fast action aim +2. Had 9 base dice. Just 2 stress dice is what I said he started with. Let's see. I think I actually said he panicked also when this guy got killed. So I had him do a test also, but he also rolled low with a 5 total. Anyway, so he did the attack that resulted in 2 hits against this alien for 4 damage. It had taken 6 damage before from Apone, and so now Crow here dealt 4 damage with that attack. And so, it was down to 0 health. I rolled on the Xeno critical injury chart, and I rolled a 6, and that alien was dead. And then, so that was the 6th initiative step. You can see 7, 8, 9, and 10 were all now, the dead aliens. So that's all moot. So I assume then that's, basically a full round. So, it's interesting. I don't know if I've really assessed what this means to me just yet. I mean, I guess on one level, it's like, okay, if this was 4 player characters against 3 of these soldier xenomorphs, in just one round, 2 xenomorphs were killed. So that's kind of noteworthy. And in just one round, 1 of the PCs was killed, in this situation. So, yeah, I don't know what to say just yet. I mean, I guess it's pretty lethal, right? That one of the players got killed that quickly. But then, conversely, or at the same time, quite lethal to the enemy also, right? Because, I mean, two of the 3 were killed in one round. And this alien took 6 damage also. So it was almost... So really, I mean, the 3rd one was almost killed also. So... yeah, I don't know. I'm going to have to think about this a little bit. I'm trying to kind of gauge, like, how many enemies can you have, like, in one mission, basically. And I want it to be lethal. I'm good with 1 or 2 of the PCs, maybe all of them being killed in the mission, if it's dramatic. But I don't know. I'll have to think about that a little bit. Other notes, I thought... I didn't do any pushing of rolls. I totally forgot about that aspect of the game. So I probably could have done more of that, especially like with these guys being kind of low stress. So if anything, maybe the Marines could have been even more lethal than they were. So I suppose I've got to consider that. Otherwise, yeah, like, that smart gun attack, that was really nasty. It's just like 1 attack, boom, 9 damage dealt. Really good chance of killing the opponent with them only getting, 5 dice due to the armor piercing for their armor. So, and maybe on the Xeno critical injury chart, maybe some of the other results would be like a little bit more favorable to them too. So that could be part of this as well. But yeah, well, anyway, again, if you saw anything I did incorrectly, I would be really interested in your feedback. Hopefully, if you're trying to understand this system, it's been informative. And yeah, let me know if you have any questions. Thanks.